We didn't get canceled yet.
We're back.
Still here, man. We're back.
We're back for the trifecta. Bush League Boys, episode 3. This is going to be, we're going to continue off of episode 2, just kind of touch on the rest of the free agents, really just starters and bullpen, and then we'll kind of run over some things we saw over the week, some signings, some Hi-Jinx, I guess you could call it. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Someone
Is that what we're
died.
calling that?
Yeah. We'll call it.
Assault
We'll get
and battery.
to it. with a clothesline.
That's assault, brother.
For reals. All right, yeah. So let's we'll jump. You guys want to do starters or bullpen first?
Yeah, let's start with our starters.
Starters and then
All right, word. When you guys want to take it and throw your first name out?
So first one I had written down, and I'll just preface this by saying this isn't the best order. Like I didn't write these down in order of who I think is best. So the first one I had written down was Carlos Rodon. I think that Carlos Rodon is going to end up with the New York Mets. So they're probably losing DeGrom, most likely losing Chris Bassett. Taijuan Walker, also a free agent that could not go back to New York. So they're going to have a drastic need for starting pitching, because that leaves you with like Tyler McGill and David Peterson as your 1 and 2. I mean, better than the Red Sox right now, right?
Well, that's not comparing apples to oranges. Continue.
So Rodon's a guy who's been injury prone throughout his years, but this year he was actually kind of a horse. When 178 innings, didn't have any major injuries that set him back. So I think he's kind of past that. I know he was having arm issues for a while, but he could kind of be a guy that he's not going to be your Jacob deGrom, but he's a guy that can kind of fill that hole.
Yeah, I got him. It's kind of a shot in the dark, but kind of not really. I think with the players that are going to this team makes him more attractive. I could see him going to the Rangers. I just think that they're kind of building that team that could be a perennial success. They could be making playoffs year in, year out, be contenders. Obviously, that's as they get better, that division's only going to get better too. Like, you're still going up against Seattle and Houston, but playing in a brand new ballpark, you got a GM that's literally wiping his ass with $100 bills. Like, this dude is just throwing money around. So, like, I don't know. I'd like to see him go there. Like, imagine they get DeGrom and him.
Yeah,
like,
that was one of the reasons why I didn't have him going to.
I don't think he's going to be that expensive. I think he also. I think he's going to be signing a shorter term deal. I think. Especially where he just come out. He signed a 1 year or 2 year with a club or 2 year with a player option after year 1,
and he didn't take it.
Yeah. So I can see another short term deal with him, but Rangers would be kind of crazy, and that's another one. Like, if he goes 2 years, maybe a third year option with them, like at the end of that contract, they could be knocking at the door.
Mm-hmm.
So I went a little different with them. This team,
Back to the Giants.
No. Especially in the division they're in, they're going to need pitching. I don't have them going for a short year. I have them going for probably a 5-year deal instead. This team, they need the pitching. They're not going to be good, or not going to be good, but they're not going to be a playoff team probably this year. But with their minor league system coming up, they're a top 5 farm team. A lot of guys coming up between 23 and 25. That's why I have him going to the Baltimore Orioles.
I saw that, actually. I read that on The Athletic. And I think this could be a big offseason for the Orioles.
Yeah.
I think that they could be one of the biggest
Well, I feel like
around.
they're kind of ready to like get in there, because Gunner's there, right?
Yeah.
Grayson Rodriguez is on the cusp. Like, you're almost there. Like, that rebuild, it's not almost done, but you're guys that are.
Well, I think the rebuild is done. If you bring in 3 or 4 veterans, your rebuild's done. You're there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the rebuild, as far as the investment that they made to begin the rebuild, is pretty much done. Pretty much all of those guys are at the big league level already. So, because, who do they have? What is it? Is it what the hell's Matt Holliday's son's name?
Oh, Jackson.
Yeah. Jackson. They drafted him, right?
Yeah,
Baltimore.
So
right?
he's probably like at least 3 away. I would
3,
say.
4. Yeah. But like, I mean, and based on trajectories, they'll be in the thick of it by the time he gets there. So like, I seriously think the rebuild is done if they bring in some veterans.
Yeah. So
and they have the money to spend.
Touch on it real quick, and then we can move on to the next one. I don't think they're going to be ready to compete for the division just yet. I think this year was a good year for them, but they got like really hot for a little while there. I don't think they're going to be in the playoffs yet. I think you give them another year, have Gunnar Henderson kind of fully submerge himself in a full MLB season, get Grayson Rodriguez up to speed, maybe make 1 or 2 big signings, and then like we talked about last week, how Tampa Bay is kind of in that system that is basically destined to fail in today's game. Right. They're going to kind of fall off a cliff, and you're going to see Baltimore replace Tampa Bay in that.
That's kind of where I was.
Go ahead, Cam. Go ahead.
That's kind of where I was going, where I thought he would sign there, because I agree with Chris. They're not. I don't see them making the playoffs this year, but he's a free agent this year. You're going to have to go and get that just to plan for years to come. And I feel like from 23 to 25, look out, the Orioles are coming.
So I was going to touch on this later, but I think it's a perfect time to go into this. I don't think I mentioned this last week. I was looking at just the current payroll for the Orioles going into the 23 season.
It's low.
Outside of arbitration, they have 1 player under contract.
I did know that.
1. Yep. John Means is the only player that they have under contract outside of arbitration.
That's absolutely mind-boggling.
So they have all those young players under franchise control for the next 3 to 5 years.
Yep.
And that means that they have a fuckload of money to go out and spend on veterans.
Yep.
They could not be in a better spot right now as far as payroll goes. They are like living.
They did a good job.
Teams who are in the rebuild process should probably follow in the footsteps, because they're doing it. They're doing it the right way.
Didn't the GM of the Orioles come from the Astros system?
He might have.
I thought I read that somewhere, that he came from the Astros.
I know the GM for the Orioles for a long time was from Acton, Mass. I forget what his name was. Local guy. But
all right,
what else we got?
All right,
I go to the GOAT.
Yeah, the GOAT. I'll go first. I think this is going to be pretty quick. I think he's going to the Rangers. I just think that makes the most sense. Like, he slots in on a growing team like that. I think Texas is a perfect environment for him. And I think in a competitive division like that, having an ace like that could really push the Rangers over the top quicker than they thought. Because if you got him going out on the bump and he's winning 17 to 20 games a year, and a guy like him, when he's good, you got a shot to win every single time that he toes it.
Yep.
And that's huge in that division, where literally down the stretch, every single game matters in that division because it's so damn good. So, I mean, because you even have the Angels, obviously, the Angels were trash this year. They were garbage. But again, they're another team. They have the pieces, and if they put it together, they're going to be damn good too. Like, so I think if the Rangers can bring him in, that's potent. And I think maybe the second, the kind of the runner-up, same division, I think if Verlander doesn't go back, I think the Astros might have a shot. Because, again, they're a team with a lot of young guys, not a ton of guys under big contracts. I think it could work.
Yep. I had him going to Texas as well. So another guy similar to Trey Turner, who came out and said that Texas would be a good spot for him. So we all know Jacob deGrom. Dude's a fucking menace. Like, probably when healthy, best pitcher in the league, right?
When healthy, debatably one of the best pitchers of all time.
Yeah,
you could say.
So obviously, there's going to be teams that are gonna take the risk with him. My only concern is this dude's pitched 162 innings in the last 2 years combined.
Yeah.
So are you going to sign this guy to a 3 or 4 year contract, give him a huge payday, and you only get 200 innings out of him over the next 4 years? So right. I think he does end up with Texas. I think they're going to be willing to take that chance on him, because how can you not? It's friggin' Jacob deGrom.
But, I think for that reason, I think there's a very good chance you see him sign like a 2-year deal for $70 million or something. And then say he has a great first season, then that turning into like a 6-year deal. The big issue with him, I think he's unlike anything you've ever seen in baseball. And, like, you're not supposed to throw 96-mile-an-hour sliders. You're not supposed to be able to throw 103 miles an hour for 110 pitches. I think he's such a freak that his body can't withstand the shit that he does. And I think I think for him to be able to pitch well into his 30s, and, I mean, look at current pitchers. You got Verlander, Kershaw, Waino. Like, you got these guys pitching into their 40s.
Yeah.
If he wants to be that guy, he's going to have to reinvent his pitching style because he's never going to last. He's just not going to last.
Cam?
I also had him going to Texas, kind of what's been said already.
Yeah.
I think Texas will take the stab at him. I agree with Chris, kind of, or whoever said it, kind of a 2-year deal. Just see what you got, and if you prove you can stay healthy, then we'll give you an extension. The only other team, again, I talking about reinventing himself, the best team for him to go to that, in order to do that, I think would be the Astros.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Look what happened with Verlander. Not that Verlander was just injury prone, but there's no doubt that they've helped him.
He was
prolong.
Verlander's had Tommy John twice.
I forget he had Tommy John. I forgot he had second Tommy John.
So,
but if you're a legit contender and you have the payroll, how can you not go out and make a legit stab at the
Exactly.
And even if he's willing to take a 2-year deal, because you can splash 40 AAV at a dude for 2 years, and if it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not like a freaking Carl Crawford signing like the Red Sox. Like it's not like a volatile contract that's going to blow up in your face.
That's still a sensitive subject. We can't talk about that.
Him and Gonzalez panned out a little better, but
too soon.
Next guy I had was Verlander.
Yep.
Right down the list. I really think he just goes back to Houston.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it just makes too much sense. I think they're winning. Obviously, he pitches phenomenally well with the rest of that staff, does well with the coaching. It just meshes too well. I can't see him leaving Houston. I think this makes me want to throw up in my mouth, but the only team I could see him going to other than Houston is the Yankees. But I really think he's going to stay with Houston.
Yeah, you kind of nailed that one head on for me. So it's crazy to me. He's going into what, his age 40 season?
No, his age 41,
I think.
42.
41, whatever.
He's already. I'll check right now. I think he's already 40.
Regardless, you slit the dude's throat and fucking dust's gonna come out. Dude's still slinging this shit in 95.
He is 39. He's turning 40 in February.
Oh, so you're right. Yeah.
So his velo, I was looking at it. His velo was actually up this year from what it was last year. I'm like, how are you even managing, dude? Like his
postseason averages for velo were like compared to like his age 29 season.
Dude, I don't fucking get it. I'm like, Kate Upton's got to be taking good care of you, dude, because
him and Tom Brady are sniffing the same stuff. That's all.
Dude,
yeah, absolutely.
Real. Cam, you have anything different?
I had him going back to the Angels. The only other thought I had
the Angels?
Oh my God, the Astros. I'm looking at something else on my page now. The Astros.
Holy Moses, Cameron.
Left field by Castellanos. It will be a home run.
I'm looking at something else right now. Astros. The only other team I kind of thought maybe would take a stab at them, and this is if they lose, their other pitchers that they could be losing this offseason would be the Mets. And that was strictly as they have Scherzer. Uncle Stevie likes to throw money at people.
What's Verlander and Scherzer's relationship like? So obviously they pitched in Detroit together for a while. I don't know if they're friends or not. I feel like nobody's friends with Max Scherzer.
I'm pretty sure they hated each other, if I remember.
It's not surprising. Does Max Scherzer like anybody?
No.
I feel like he's married and his wife is like, we don't get along that well.
She's only in it for the money anyway.
Hey.
Yeah, he's making a lot of money.
Two-color eyes get her going.
You had anything else, Cam, or you all set?
No, that's it.
All right, so last one I had was Evaldi.
Yep.
So turned down his qualifying offer. We all knew that. I still think he ends up back with Boston. So I think he's going to go back on sort of a 2-year deal. Same boat as kind of DeGrom, the whole injury thing. Dude's had 2 Tommy John surgeries, still throwing fucking 99, bringing absolute cheese. But he's a guy who's been in Boston for a while. I think he loves being here. So if we can just build around him a little, Heim, please, just a little bit.
Please do something.
I don't know. After the performance me and Cam saw him give in person against the Astros,
You want to send him into the sun?
yeah, I honestly would rather him not come back to the Red Sox.
Who's gonna have pitch though? We need someone to pitch.
Rich Hill.
I'll get to it. I got another guy on my list.
Oh, I know who you're gonna. Okay.
Yeah, I think there is a good chance he comes back to Boston. I think I'd rather see him just get shipped off into the sun, like you said. I'm not really a fan of him anymore. He's a Red Sox legend just because of, what was it, Game 3 of the 18 World Series where he pitched like 9 innings.
9 innings.
Yeah.
That alone like solidifies him as a legend, but like he's over the hill, I think, as far as his Boston playing career goes. He's another guy I could see landing in Texas on a 2-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
If they're willing to spend, I feel like any team that's willing to spend that's on the doorstep of just gonna get in their rotation over that hump, he's a guy that they could go after. There's a handful of teams that you could see go after him. You could see him land with San Francisco. I could see him land with St. Louis. Like there's so many different teams he could land with, I honestly think. But I don't know.
You're going to see a lot of those fringe teams try and take a stab at it. Just, hey, we were on the cusp last year. Let's just take a risk, see what happens.
Seattle, maybe?
Maybe.
He'd fill a pretty nice slot in their rotation, actually.
Send George Kirby to wherever.
George Kirby went crazy. What are you talking about? George Kirby's a stud. You leave George Kirby alone. Yeah, you got anything on him, Cam?
I had him coming back to the Red Sox, only just because the Red Sox are familiar with him. Again, like you said, 2-year deal. Just because of the injuries, he's familiar with the Red Sox. I didn't see him going anywhere else, really.
Fair enough. With that, right. I'll bring up. So I kind of wrote just down 3. I think kind of the 3 guys on the outside looking in that aren't really premier pitchers, but I think that could get pretty handsome contracts in the offseason, and that's Michael Wacha, who I think is, if the Red Sox will either bring back him or Evaldi, I think. Michael Wacha was pretty much the best pitcher on the Red Sox this year.
Stallion this year.
Outside of John Schreiber,
this year.
He was the best pitcher on the Red Sox. I think John Schreiber is an absolute stud. The next one, Chris Bassett. He's another guy, could literally go anywhere. Anybody that's a contender and willing to spend, that they could go out and get Chris Bassett in a heartbeat. And I think the same case with Jameson Taillon. I think he's another guy, if you just want to shore up that back end of your rotation, all 3 of those guys could shore up a rotation and put you in a good spot.
I didn't realize Wacha went 11-2 this year.
Oh my God.
I don't think he lost until after the All-Star break.
Nutty, dude. 3.32 ERA in 127 innings.
Pretty good.
Time won't bring him back.
No,
don't want to say
him. Too good? Send him out.
Yeah.
You guys have anybody else, or do you want me to
Nope.
go into the guy?
You want to talk about Kodai Senga, or is that your
That's
other
what
guy?
I was going to bring up, yeah.
All right.
Kodai Senga, based on current reports, looks like he's probably going to sign with the Mets.
Yeah.
Dude's an absolute stud. Pitched in so I was wrong, Cam. It wasn't KBO. It was the NPB or whatever, so the Japanese league.
Yep.
But basically ran the world there the last 2 years. The dude absolutely hums. I think his fastball average is 101.3 or something like that. Just absolutely, and he has another
filthy.
He's got another Joan Duran kind of thing, 96 mile an hour splitters, splinker, what you want to call it,
He's absolutely disgusting.
So the teams, I've done a bunch of reading all over the place between a bunch of articles, and there's 6 teams that I've seen mentioned around him. And it's the Red Sox, the Orioles, the Rangers, the Mets, Mariners, and Padres. I think the only teams that have met with him so far are the Mets and the Padres. I don't think anyone's met with him yet, but it looks like the Mets are the front runner.
Yeah. The Mets leave a contract with him? It's here's your contract. Take it if you want it.
Uncle Stevie was just sign your own check, give him a blank one, just whatever the hell you want.
Right, whatever
we'll
the hell
see
you
in
want.
New York.
He's another one. I don't think he's super young. I think he's 30.
Let me see. Can look it up.
That kind of stuff's crazy to me. These guys have just been hiding out in the KBO or the whatever it is.
And the thing is, though, in the Japanese leagues, some of those dudes get paid.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani's getting paid less in the MLB than he was in Japan.
Yeah, right now.
Right. Until
he's 29.
Until he reaches arbitration and he can literally, like I said, fill out a blank check. Set the world on
fire.
Yeah. I mean, you literally got to pay him 2 people's salaries, no?
Yeah.
I think he could be the first guy you ever see with AAV above $60 million a year.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean,
It
why
won't be
would
for
he?
long, but yeah.
Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? If he's if pitcher with those numbers would be getting paid $40 million AAV, right? A hitter with those numbers would be getting at least 30 AAV. Cut him a little discount, a little 10 mil off the top, 60 mil AAV. I think is pretty reasonable for Shohei Ohtani.
He goes cut a little mill off the top.
Just
Do a little
it's,
shave, do a
it's
little
not
shave.
that crazy.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
fine.
it's within reason, no.
I agree.
But I think all Shohei Ohtani has done is basically make the stock on all these studs in Japan just fucking skyrocket to the moon.
Yeah.
And now everybody wants the next Shohei. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, really, you kind of, the guys before that coming from Japan or what? Like, Yu Darvish, who's been pretty successful.
Daisuke?
He's solid. Daisuke was before, but Tanaka?
Masahiro?
Which Tanaka went back to Japan. I
Yeah,
believe.
he's back.
He's
He did,
now
yeah.
talking about coming back. I don't know.
I wonder how that worked. Like,
I don't
if he goes
know.
back, can he come back?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like in soccer where like if you're under contract with the team, you're under contract. If you're out of contract, like
Wherever the hell
Aaron
you
Judge
want.
could go play for the freaking Icelandic baseball team if you wanted to, like in the Icelandic league or some shit. Like
I'd
as
pay
long
to
as
see
you're
that.
not legally under contract, I think you can literally go anywhere. So I guess good.
Anybody else, or are we moving on to relievers?
So
I,
I
think
would.
relievers, I only got a
I've read
couple.
I have a couple. I have
Yeah, so
four.
do I.
Go ahead, Cam.
No, I had read a little about Kodai Senga, and the only other team I thought had a chance, but I know haven't met with him, would be the Cubs.
Yes, I did hear about the Cubs
Yeah.
because
Partner up with Seiya.
yeah,
Yeah. Well,
I
I
guess
read
it
they
was
had already
for-
sent Seiya to
right.
to call him.
Yeah, I think they believe he
Interesting.
met him in Japan.
Yeah.
I think they had an in-person meeting in Japan because he's basically kind of their agent right now. Which
Yeah.
Interesting.
Cubs fans would love that. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I think they may have
Alright.
even come from the same team. I could be wrong, but they may have even played together.
That
Um,
I didn't see anything on that. I
Yeah.
just saw that they were sending
Well,
him over.
we can come back next week with a little more Kodai Senga factuals. Maybe
Yeah.
do a little spot on him. So yeah, I only have 4 relievers. Not
I
a
also
big
have
class.
Nope.
Can I guess the 4 that you have?
Go for it.
So I have 4.
Kenley,
Yep.
Kimbrel,
Yep.
Mhm.
Taylor Rogers,
Mm-mm.
and David Robertson.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
So I had 3 or 4. So Cam, I had 2 or 4.
Yep.
All right. So who's your 4th one, Chris?
Chapman.
Yep.
Oh, I think he's done forever.
You think? I don't.
I don't think he's going to get signed.
I do. All right. Well, let's kick it off with Kimbrel. That's somebody that we all have. So I have Kimbrel going to the Philadelphia Phillies.
Kimbrel, I feel like his stock's got to be way down.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, but
yeah.
Corey Knebel, Corey Knebel and Brad
Shout out
Hand are
Jared.
both free agents. Shout out Jared Richards, homie. But Knebel and Brad Hand are both free agents, so Kimbrel kind of has that pedigree, and everybody knows what Craig Kimbrel can do when he's on. So I think it's just a matter of getting him in that right environment. So when he started to absolutely shit the bed, it all kind of started in Chicago, playing for friggin' Tony La Russa.
Honestly, you could say he began to shit the bed in the 2018 playoffs with the Red Sox? 2013? Which team is he on? Is it 18 or 13?
2018, yeah.
18,
Because they pulled
2013,
sales instead of him.
Jesus, dude.
I mean, oh yeah, it's Koji Urahara. Sorry,
Yeah.
my respects,
Oh, my
Koji. Sorry.
God.
No, I think he honestly fell off in 2018 because he didn't close that whole postseason. Hence why
Yeah.
Chris Sale came in and closed out the game.
But even
Six,
so,
I
he's just kind of a veteran guy who can hopefully shore up the back half of a bullpen that's kind of looking for an identity, especially if you're losing a couple guys. So, like
Yep.
I said, when he's on, he's on.
Mhm.
So I have him going to Philly.
I can see that. I honestly, between him and Kenley, I didn't have specific landing spots. I think both of those guys are they're going to go, both of it will go to a contender. I think likely both on a 1-year deal, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
They just seem like the perfect guys for it. They're a little later in their careers. Their performance is a bit unsure right now. I can see them both going on 1-year deals between 10 and 20 mil probably. And I could also see both of them just having like renaissance seasons and just lights out. But I don't have none of my relievers. I really had anyone specific, like any specific landing spots. It was more so like kind of what kind of deals they'd be getting, what sort of teams, because I feel like all of them could literally go anywhere.
Yeah.
I had him going a little different because I did think he fell off more of a cliff than maybe I'm right about, but I had him going to the Angels. They kind of had closer by committee last year. That's where I was picking up Angels.
Angel's been Angel.
Yeah, they had closer by committee last year. I think just on a 1-year deal, get a guy in.
Well, and there's not too many games that they were
fair.
closing out to begin with.
I think their actual closer on paper was Aaron Loop, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he had a great 2021 this year. Holy Moses.
He did not do good. No.
Well, yeah, because he Mets last year, right? And I think Loop.
Yeah.
The Mets in 21. I don't know what his contract is right now, but their bullpen might be the weakest part of that entire team. So, really just their pitching in general.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. All right. So, Kimbrel. Okay. Who do we got next? Who we touching?
Taylor Rogers?
Sure. I'll kick it off. So, this is the one of my 4 where I think Taylor Rogers is where this is my most confident pick. Mm-hmm. I think Taylor Rogers is ending up with the Boston friggin' Red Sox. I think it happens.
I mean,
so
don't get me excited.
They need a left. Sam, you're going to be excited for this one. I got a little information for you. So the Sox need a left-handed reliever, right? So he was absolutely brutal when he got traded to San Diego, bottom barrel bad. Like probably could have been sent down to single A to figure his shit out, and nobody would have blinked an eye. Sam, I got a stat for you here that you're gonna love. You know what his BABIP was in his last 15 appearances with San Diego? I want you to guess.
It was like 600 or something.
You're close. It was 513.
Oh my god!
Was this BABIP in his last 15 appearances with San Diego?
For anyone who's not a stat nerd, that is batting average on balls in play. So virtually on balls on results.
Basically, anytime somebody hit the ball, half the time they were getting a hit.
Ball was in play. So on a result that wasn't a walk or a strikeout, they were hitting almost 600.
They were getting on.
Really, really bad.
So he was very bad with San Diego. Then got shipped off to Milwaukee, which just as bad, not just as bad because that's next to impossible, but was pretty bad over there. So I think this is going to be a kind of guy that could get overlooked a little bit, especially coming off a really bad second half of the year. And I think Heim could kind of go out and get him for a little bit of the low. Mm-hmm. So I think he goes to Boston.
He's the kind of guy I could see. He's probably going to sign another 2-year deal, like you said, because he's a bit. His success rates aren't fantastic, to say the least, of late. But he's definitely a guy who I could see going somewhere on a 1-year or 2-year with a 1-year opt out, just dicing, and then just getting paid next offseason. He just has I feel like so many sidearm pitchers like him, they're very volatile. They're either going to have crazy good stuff or they're just getting their titties lit up, basically. Because that Aaron Loop is a perfect example. So good in 21 and garbage this year. So I like Boston. I think he could literally go anywhere that throws money at him. Yeah. So who knows? Heim, do your thing.
I didn't look into him, but now that I'm looking at his stats and kind of what I know about him, I could see the Dodgers throwing money at him. Treinen's hurt.
Some pieces.
Yeah, they're losing a bunch on their bullpen. Just kind of throw cheap money at him, try and get him on, see what he can do for 1 year.
Yeah.
I can't get over the 513 BABIP, dude. That's
horrific.
Astronomically bad.
If someone hits a ball that's not foul, half of the time it's like if you got a BABIP over like 250, that's not very good.
Yeah. All right. Who we got next?
I mean, I had David Robertson. He's a guy I can almost guarantee he's going to sign a 1-year deal and probably with a contender because the dude has so much playoff experience. He's pretty solid with the Phillies this offseason. I think you could see him get paid on a 1-year deal because he's still proven that he's effective. And we've already seen age is pretty irrelevant as far as pitchers go. So
as long as
really
you
doesn't mean shit.
Throw strikes, they don't care.
Yeah, if you get outs, it doesn't matter.
Nope.
Yeah. Did we all have Kenley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to touch on Kenley real quick.
Yeah,
I had
you guys
him
can go,
going-
I don't really
Cam,
have
kick us off.
I had him going back to the Dodgers, strictly because I don't see them re-signing Kimbrel. Blake
You mean
Trinan,
like-
who...
yeah. Well, I just want to make sure you know he played for the Braves this year, right?
Yeah, but he also played for the Dodgers
Okay.
before.
Yeah.
He went to Dodgers
So like a
traded him, didn't they?
return. Yeah. How many?
Yeah, sorry,
I don't know how
return.
many years ago it was.
Return back to the Dodgers.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry. The Dodgers need bullpen arms. I was reading a lot about him, and there's a lot of fans out there who want him back. Obviously, fans don't run the team, but it feels like it'd be a reunion that they'd be welcome to.
Kenley. I have Kenley going to the Toronto Blue Jays.
See that?
So Jordan Romano was in that closer role for them this year. Dude's coming off a knee surgery, had off-season knee surgery in his left knee. Not sure if he'll be ready come springtime. So I think them taking a stab on Kenley and putting him in that closer role right off the rip, seeing what happens. And then if Romano comes back and he's ready to rock, that setup closer duo, no matter how you roll it, is going to be absolutely filthy. So I think Toronto takes a stab at Kenley again, kind of just like a 1 year prove it kind of thing. And I think he'll be valuable for Toronto.
Yeah, I can see that. They have, especially in that Seattle series, their bullpen let them down pretty significantly. So
Yeah.
It was bad.
I can't even, outside of Jordan Romano, like they really don't have any like go-to arms out of there. So
I was looking at playoff ERAs for all the playoff teams this year. Blue Jays were the worst by far. They had an 8.
yeah, it's not going to do it.
Not going to help you out in the playoffs.
That won't cut it.
That's pretty good, no?
What kind of metric are we looking at for this?
Am I wrong? Am I missing something here?
Well, if you score 9, you let it 8, you do win the game.
It's true. We don't know the differentials. Does that cover all our relievers?
I had one more, just real quick. Araldus, you guys said you think he's done.
On forever, Aaron Hernandez.
I have him going back to
Don't
one
think he's
team. Team.
Cam, I want to hear who you got first.
I have the Cincinnati Reds taking a stab at him. Only because I think they're the only team they're going to fucking...
I think he would be
upset.
better off retiring.
Kim is being so romantic with these reunion tours.
I know. No, I think the
closers, though. Nobody else, just closers.
Yeah, no. That's it.
I have him going to the Miami Marlins. Excuse me, I'm yawning. I have him going to Miami.
Sam don't like
Sam,
that.
that face looks like he's about to punch his computer screen.
I was fighting off a yawn.
Same kind of thing. It's going to be just kind of like a prove it thing. This is a dude who is an absolute moron. Like, I feel like any high profile team isn't going to want to go near this dude with a 10-foot pole.
I don't think anybody will.
Getting tatted
Nobody
mid-season, getting an infection in his leg. Like, you're just a fucking moron, dude.
Wasn't there the whole rumor with Chris Sale missing games because he got an infection from like a belly button piercing or something?
Yeah.
We can't jump the ship here, but he's also stupid because he also broke his wrist like falling off a bike or some shit. So.
Hey, don't be a hater.
Just these weird lefties. Just, lefties are quirky.
Yep. So I won't go too deep into it, but I have Araldus taking a 1 year deal in Miami.
I think he's going to be playing for the Worcester Tornadoes.
No, don't put him in Massachusetts.
They're making a comeback?
He can leave Massachusetts.
He'll be playing Can-Am ball or something.
Making a real comeback.
Yeah, I think he's done. I think he's just too much of a problem. I don't think teams want to risk it.
Yeah. All right.
That covers up all our free agents. We can kind of touch on some signings and moves that happened this week real quick. Not really a lot, like, too in-depth, I don't think. There's really 2 teams that made moves this week. And 2 teams that you didn't think were going to make moves. It's pretty much the Angels and the Rockies that we're dealing this week. So, so you had the Angels signing Anderson and trading for Gio Urshela, which the
Tyler Anderson.
Tyler Anderson, yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking we're talking Nick. I'm like,
no, he hasn't signed yet. Yeah.
Yeah, Nick Anderson went to Atlanta.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Personal.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd sign on that weird like minor league, major league deal, right? It's like
Nick and-
incentive
yeah.
signing.
It's like a split
He
deal.
gets like $330K
Yeah.
if he's in the minors and like $850 if he's
Right.
in the majors.
Yeah,
Great
so
deal for him.
Anderson signed 3 years, $13 million. For the fact that the Angels need pitchers, this was the most un-Angels signing ever. This is an absolutely fantastic signing, if you ask me, for what the money they're spending on this guy and the numbers that he put up this year. Like, the Angels did an Angel for once,
One time.
just once.
Just once.
Although the Urshela deal seems kind of like an Angels gonna Angel sort of thing.
Yeah.
Although we did look, and the minor league pitcher that they traded for him literally had like a 5 ERA in high A, so like they didn't really give up anything for him. I don't know what his contract is. I can't imagine it's enormous. He's pretty young, and I think he's got some promise. So, like, honestly, both solid deals for the Angels. I don't think anyone would really argue with those. I think I'm sure Gio is really happy to be out of Minnesota. But yeah.
Cam, you got anything?
No, I'm trying to look up what his contract is, or Shell's contract is, and my computer's just not working. So that's great.
Sick.
So I guess while you find that, we could want to move to the Rockies here real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
We have Rockies.
Colorado Rockies, they picked up Brent Suter off of waivers,
Yes.
which they got him $3.2 million on a 1-year contract. Pretty good contract, if you ask me, for a decent arm. Like, he pitched, I think he had a sub-4 ERA this year. Like, pitched well.
Yeah.
Although, like, ERA is a weird metric to look at when you're going to Colorado because it's not really applicable. So I think they have ERA plus, but I don't know if they have that on Baseball Ref. But yeah, it's a good signing. And then they got Nolan Jones for a couple minor leaguers, and that is a banging trade, if you ask me, for long term. Oh, and then we forgot about the biggest trade that happened all week.
Is it Teoscar?
Teoscar, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the Mariners are
Scary.
doubling down. The Mariners are doubling down, and their outfield is really, really good now.
That puts them on par. Like, they're right there with the Angels. I fucking hate the Angels. I say them one more time. The Astros.
Yeah, just falling apart at the seams.
Yeah. I can't find, for whatever reason, Urshela's contract for 23 is just not showing up. But he got paid $6.5 million in 22.
Oh,
and
nice.
he's a free agent after this year.
So bit of a rental,
They traded for a rental.
but
team
they
that
didn't
can
give
make
up really
playoffs.
anything for him. So, but yeah,
Did we talk about Edwin? Yes.
I think we talk about that last week? Because I think it
I think
happened
we talked
before
about it a
that.
little
I don't know. Regardless, they're paying that dude till 2042.
Bobby Vanilla 2.0.
Vanilla 2.0.
Yeah.
Friggin' idiot. Mike Yastrzemski is another one. Back to San Fran, $6 million for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Peterson,
I don't remember.
Jock
Did
Peterson.
we talk? Did we talk
Also
Kyle
on
Lewis
that.
to Arizona?
No, we didn't.
Oh man, Kyle Lewis.
Oh, Kyle Lewis,
Kyle
friend of
Lewis.
the podcast, Kyle
Former-
Lewis.
Big friend of the podcast. So former AL Rookie of the Year. So there's a little bit of a pedigree there. So Arizona could be getting a winner here.
I think it was a good trade, and I think it makes sense for the Mariners to move on from him. I think both teams kind of won.
Yeah.
Especially them basically getting rid of him to open up the slot for Teoscar. Like, it's just that's a pretty good. Like, they traded up, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that's a trade up for the Diamondbacks too. That's a much better outfielder than what they had last year. So are they gonna? I mean, I got to imagine. I don't even know what their outfield is anymore. You got Corbin Carroll, Seth Beer.
What's the dude's name? Alec Thomas? Is that his name?
Yes, yeah. They got some young studs in Arizona.
Yeah. It could be.
In
Could be scary,
4 to
dude.
5 years, they could be really good.
I don't even think it's going to be that long.
In a division too, like all the teams in the NL West aren't really built to last except for the Padres. And even then, it's really just Machado. They don't really have any long-term guys, like where Arizona has some studs. Corbin Carroll and
Tatis
Alex
is gonna
Thomas.
be there for a while, assuming they also don't send him to the moon.
That's
but-
what I mean. Yeah, that's a volatile situation where that could blow up in their face really quick.
I can't wait for that to come down.
Oh, I know.
Just the whole.
Bellinger, non-tendered.
Yeah,
I wanted
frees
to
up
ask-
a bunch of space for the Dodgers.
Yeah. Where do you guys think he goes?
Oh,
Belly.
Bellinger.
Belly?
I could see
Who
Toronto.
picks him up?
I think Toronto would make sense. He'll never go to the Astros because I think he would get like assassinated by Dodgers fans if he went to Houston.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to think about him, dude.
The drop off is just insane.
So his projected numbers for next year are bad.
Yeah.
So he's projected to like 500 plate appearances, 22 doubles, 17 homers, like 60 ribs, and hitting 212 is the projected number. So he's coming off 2019 where he hit 305, he won the MVP. In 2020 COVID season out of nowhere, he's hitting 239 with 12 homers, and 21 in twice as many games hit 10 home runs and only drove in 36 runs and hit $165. And then this year he hit 210.
Oh my God.
Like talk about a steep fall. He's only been in the league for 6 years. In his first 3 years was an absolute stud and literally fell off the face of the planet.
There was that time everybody thought Cody Bellinger was like that next generational talent kind of guy.
Within 3 years, he won a Rookie of the Year, and then 2017 Rookie of the Year, and then 2019 MVP.
Yeah, he's 3 years removed from an MVP season. It's ridiculous.
And in 2019, he won a Gold Glove and a Silver Slugger.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Who is he? Different dude.
Yep.
Different dude. He's the kind of guy where he could go to like a Minnesota or something or Miami and like you just
figure his shit out.
Either that or you never fucking hear from him again. He just falls
Remember
off and rides off into the sunset. Like
he's going to be a trivia question again in 10 years.
Dude, he literally in 2019 he led the league in total bases and intentional walks.
Yeah. Yep.
Hit 305, had almost 50 homers. He hit 47 home runs. And this dude's struggling to hit double digits now.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Maybe it's just kind of that environment too.
I don't know.
It's not the place.
Is LA even a tough place to play like that? We haven't heard any of that.
It's not like a New York or a Boston.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's still out there.
It's like a New York kind of place.
It's not like you're playing in Cincinnati.
If you're not doing well, then you're gonna get in your own head. You're not playing.
Yeah.
Like
you got to fight and scratch your way back into that lineup, and it's not happening. They made that move for Gallo. They got Gallo over there.
Yeah.
So and then I don't even know what their outfield was looking like, but
I think it was Chris Taylor, him in center, and Mookie Betts in right.
There you go.
But his OPS plus different. So his MVP season, his OPS plus. So you guys know how OPS plus works or no?
Yeah.
So his OPS plus was 167 his MVP year. 21 it was 44, and then last year was 78. So he's below a dude who went from winning a Rookie of the Year and MVP, Gold Glove, and Silver Slugger in 3 years. Is like 50% below league average in OPS. Like what?
Being on top of the world and then just jumping off.
Literally, not even like falling down a mountain slope. It's just a plateau, and you just walk in and gone. See you later. Just screaming on your way down, like what the hell happened?
Yeah,
like that's crazy. What we got next? Rizzo.
Yeah,
Yankees.
Yeah.
I think
we gotta make that spreadsheet too with all of our free agent predictions, and we're keeping track of who got the most right.
We'll have to go through.
I'm off to a hot start. I'm just saying.
You are indeed. I think that they overpaid for Rizzo. Being honest, I mean, not really.
I don't know, and it's like
it's a weird
who else
deal.
Are you spending your money on?
Right. To me, it was a bit of a white flag to go out and spend early on him.
Yeah, I don't know. It must have had to have been
I think,
mutual thing.
So I
like, I want to be here. We want you here. Let's get it done.
So I have it here. It's a 2-year deal at $20 million AAV. So it's $40 million guaranteed with an option. I think it's a club option for the third year. Yeah. So not a horrible deal. Like
Rizzo's loving it over there, dude. You're fucking crackerjack box of a stadium. You're 310 down the line for lefties.
I'd love to see his home road splits because there's no way in God's green earth that he hit even remotely as good on the road than he did at Yankee Stadium.
It's basically like the equivalent of playing at Polo Grounds.
It's like playing in the Townsend youth baseball, softball league over there.
Shout out TAYBS.
So yeah, that I don't know. The Yankees, I think their direction is still pretty unclear with that signing. I don't know what that's all about. But
Yeah. We can talk about players who accepted and didn't accept their qualifying offers real quick. We can run down that. And,
yeah, just read off the list, I guess, and we'll throw some comments
so,
out there.
well, let's start with the ones who did, because that list is far shorter than the ones who didn't. Martin Perez.
Yep. He's getting paid isn't he getting paid 3 times more than he was?
Dude.
Like it was at a $6 million contract, and he took a qualifying offer from $19
million. Yeah.
This dude's stats this year were absolutely nutty.
I think the Rangers were smart to give him that, extend that to him.
ERA was like microscopic. Didn't win a lot of games because
he's playing for the Rangers. Yeah,
he didn't win a lot of games. I think he only won like 13 or something like that. But his ERA was absolutely minuscule.
Yeah, he was an all-star.
Yeah. So I think he's due for quite a bit of regression from this past year, but who knows?
I mean, but the year before he wasn't phenomenal either. So like I feel like there's no projection for this year at all.
When I think maybe I didn't touch on it last week, but his ERA in the 5 seasons before was like over 4.
Yep.
Not very. It was like 4.5.
He's like
not very
37, good. I think 38.
Yeah, he's up there, dude. Like slow throwing,
but again,
lefty.
Age doesn't mean anything for pitchers anymore.
If they're signing him to be an ace, hate it. Absolutely.
No, definitely
but
not.
If you go out and get 1 or 2 better pitchers and have him middle or back end of your order,
he'd be one of the best 3 starters in the league.
Yep, absolutely.
He's half the pitcher he was this year.
So. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Who else we got, Chris?
The other one that did was Jock, and we've already kind of touched on him.
I think we all had basically said we thought he was going back there anyways. So
makes
sense.
No way it wasn't. It was either that or the Angels.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we don't necessarily need to talk about all of them, but going down the list, guys who didn't accept their QOs: Bassett, Bogarts, Wilson Contreras, DeGrom, Eovaldi, Judge, Nimmo, Rizzo, Rodon, Swanson, Turner, and Anderson. And then obviously some of these guys have already gone places.
Right.
But that list is still pretty lengthy for guys who need homes. So we're still kind of just getting into the thick of it now. I think it's going to be a little exciting to see where players end up.
We got winter meetings come up in 2 weeks or so.
Dude, let's fill the people in now.
Oh, yeah.
January, dude. January cannot come soon enough, dude.
Yep. So we are going to Red Sox Winter Weekend, which we're going as the Bush League Boys. This is a Bush League Boys trip, which if you don't know, Red Sox Winter Weekend is basically the winter meetings, but just for the Red Sox. It's kind of like a Red Sox town hall sort of thing. If you guys are local,
anybody that's around in the area want to pull up, say what's
up. It's going to be a blast. So we should be we're trying to work on some Bush League Boys merch right now. We'll be rocking it. And if people express interest in that, we'll obviously start. We can start pushing it. But so I'm amped for that.
Oh yeah! For those who don't know, we'll just fill you in real quick. You can get a 2-day pass for $95, or you can get a 1-day one for
I think it's like 50 or 60.
Yeah, I want to say.
I think, yeah.
So it's at the MGM in Springfield, Mass.
Yep, and we'll be going with the one and only Sheb.
Yeah, she's going to be our personal
videographer, and she's supplying room and board, so we don't have to
with possible snacks.
Yes. So I'm amped for
that.
That's going to be fun. It's going to be a hell of a weekend. It's also Chris's birthday weekend. Like, the boys about to go crazy. Any questionable videos pop up on the internet featuring any of the Bush League Boys, we don't know
they're taken down immediately. Yeah, nope.
We know nothing about it.
That was not part.
Didn't happen. Never happened.
No.
Ken's gonna be over there chugging gallons of milk.
So I think the moment we've all been waiting for.
Dude,
we don't talk about that. That's sacrilege. God damn. The Hi-Jinx we talked about earlier that we were going to mention. Well, I'll throw a link in the bio so people can watch it if they haven't seen it. Asdrubal Cabrera, former big leaguer. I don't think he's under contract with anyone right now.
He's not.
Who did he last play for?
Cincinnati, I believe.
Let's look him up. Asdrubal Cabrera last played for Cincinnati in 21. So it was it in the Dominican League, right?
No.
Was it the Cuban League?
I thought I read it.
I don't even know.
It was one of the
Man, I
winter
have it.
leagues.
I have it.
And Asdrubal Cabrera is playing first base, and some dude hits an absolute cock shot. Bat flips to high hell, chirping the dugout down the first baseline, and Asdrubal comes out of nowhere with a WWE move and decapitates this man with a clothesline. For something, if it wasn't on a baseball field, he'd be under arrest and thrown in prison for. Like, he absolutely crushed this dude, and the guy did not get up. He stayed down.
He was down.
Yeah, so I'll
my
throw the
God.
link in that down there. What do you guys' take on old Asdrubski's trying to kill a man?
We were kind of talking about this earlier before Cam got in here, dude. Dude, as a baseball fan standpoint, and we always talk about rooting for chaos. I love it.
Oh yeah.
I just don't think a dude bat flipping and talking a little bit of shit towards a dugout warrants getting your head taken off with a clothesline.
And I believe I said the complete opposite. I said, screw that guy. You know the rules. You know the unwritten rules. Like, I think we talked about this. The issue was not the bat flip. Because we've seen in these Hispanic Winter Leagues, these dudes doing, like, they're going back and, like, sniper scoping with the bat, and, like, throwing it up in the air and, like, doing all this wacky shit. Like, I don't think the bat flip was the problem. The problem was him screaming at the dugout.
Yeah.
And, like, not just, like, turning his head and saying stuff. This dude, like, turned his whole body and he's like screaming at the dugout.
Chirping the whole dugout now.
And like, I think the right move, like neither of them were in the right. The right move would be like just get in his face,
No.
and then like maybe let it. But like,
Cam's all aboard for the clothesline.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
like,
like most of me, I'm like 60-40, 60 being clothesline, 40 being just confronted. Dude, I love the clothesline. It was executed perfectly.
Oh yeah.
Like he didn't even like run at him. He took like 2 steps and leveled this dude. Like he ragdolled him. His legs helicoptered up in the air. He did some damage.
It's let the kids play unless you pimp a home run off Asdrubal Cabrera's pitcher, and then it's not let the kids play anymore.
You just got to know when you step on that field, when you look up to see where the guys are, so you can kind of prepare for your at bat. Make sure Asdrubal Cabrera is not out there. If he's out there and you go yard, you best hit that home run. Lay the bat down. You lay the bat down with 2 hands, gently,
just go.
and if it's sprint, full speed, just all the way around the bases.
I don't know, you might want to even stop and give him a handshake on the way by and let him know you appreciate his service.
Give him like
he might get
give him a
punched for that,
refreshment
too.
or something.
Holy shit, dude!
Yeah, that was violent. I'll throw a link down under on the YouTube video. If you're listening on Spotify, just hop over to the YouTube; it'll be down there. Last thing I have on my go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was just continuing with that. I just couldn't believe it when I saw it, dude. I woke up this morning and I was like, "Fucking what?"
Honestly, when I watched the
happened?
first time, I laughed out loud when I saw it.
Yeah,
Like,
I died.
I was sitting in my bed and I'm looking at it, and I literally just started laughing out loud. I'm like, "Is this real?" Like, this is why I love baseball. Dumb shit like that. I love it so much, and it's always out of these random ass winter leagues and like Cuba, like an umpire getting clubbed or something. Like, it's just like something crazy, and it doesn't happen in other sports.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So the last thing I had on my notes, the Twins unveiled their new logo and unis. Honestly,
Not great.
If we're gonna heat check those unis out of 10, I'm giving them like a 3.5.
Yeah.
They are bland. They are blander than bland. I don't hate the City Connects, the Twin City ones, the white ones. Those are okay.
The one I was a fan of.
But the other ones are just blah.
I just feel like they can do so much more
They
because like
can.
their colors,
Mhm.
their color scheme is. I like it.
I
I'm a
honestly,
big fan of the navy blue, the red, and the white.
oh yeah, it's classic.
It's just like I don't know, dude. I can get on board with the City Connect one, and their whites that say Twins across the front aren't the worst. But the gray pinstripes with Minnesota across the front.
Well, that's what I'm
Huh?
saying. So they announced basically they were like, we're bringing pinstripes back. So immediately what I thought, remember the early 2000s ones that were gray with the red pinstripes? Those
Yeah.
were fire. Those
Yep.
uniforms are classic. And they went, what are these? It's gray with navy pinstripes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
gray,
it's just-
navy
Yeah, they went
pinstripes,
for
and
color.
Minnesota and navy blue across the front.
It's just bland. It's just blah. Like, especially in a league where like so many teams are putting out some heat for uniforms. Like,
Yeah.
like there's some really, really good new uniforms out there. Like the Marlins, every single Marlins uniform is clean.
Yeah.
Yet the Red
Or-
Sox and Yankees are timeless. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, And they,
while we're talking about the Marlins ones real quick, that Minnesota kind of bit off their logo.
that's what I said to Cam when I saw it. I was like, it literally just looks like the Marlins M just cut down and like simplified.
Yeah, and then added a diamond to the top just to make.
Well, it's a star because it's a North Star state. I believe that's what it's for. But it's just,
I'm not a fan. I can get on board with that Twin City Connect one, but
even that one, I put that as like down in the bottom.
You know what I think we got to do? I think a podcast in the future. I think we're gonna have to do a top 10 unis rankings. I think that's gonna have to be a podcast.
Doing like all-time unis, or are we doing like ones in current state?
That's a good question.
We could do both.
I think. We could eventually do both, but I think we got to go current state first. All time.
Yeah, I think current.
I'm gonna need some time to think about that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The ones that come to my mind when I think all-time one, like the early 2000s, late 90s Diamondbacks ones. Those are classic.
Yeah.
The Anaheim Angels ones with the baby blue. Those were flames.
I'm a big sucker for baby blues.
Speaking of what, low key on my list, one that's going to pop up is the Rangers alternates. The alternate Rangers ones that are baby blue. Those are clean. But there's some really good ones all time.
Yeah.
The ones that got brought back this year were the black Mets ones.
Yeah,
the all black Mets ones are fire.
Nice.
You know what I'm actually a big fan of is it was back in, it had to have been the late 80s, early 90s, was the Marlins had those like
the teal pinstripes.
Yeah,
with the cutoffs. And the under. Yeah, that was like late 90s. Yeah. Because that was that's when they won the World Series in 2003. Those are the jerseys they were wearing with like Josh Beckett, Mike Lowell, Jeff Conine. Yeah, those are some classics.
So
I think
we won't get too in depth.
I think that'll have to be an episode.
The classic ones will need some time on.
Yeah. Classics we could even do like top 5 because there's so many.
But there's good ones.
I'm gonna have to go. I'll just go on MLB The Show. In the alternate, I think we should do top 5 all time and bottom 5 all time.
Oh yeah,
we should do the worst.
Yeah, there's been some bad ones.
I think I'm just gonna off the top. I think bar none worst all time is the one from the 70s the White Sox did where they wore shorts. Those ones are all time bad.
Those are some heat, dog. They should bring those back now.
Imagine wearing those like in a early spring game in Chicago with the wind. You just
snow falling down.
Oh my word! You got just freaking frostbite up the wazoo.
Quite literally up the wazoo.
For real. Yeah, it's, I don't know. That's all I had. You guys got any other stuff you wanted to run down?
No, I'm good.
All right. So, what are we thinking for next week?
So kind of follow a little bit of the same concept. We'll pick up on if there was any new signings and things like that. So we can do that. If we want to kind of start introducing like a ranking kind of game that we do, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were talking about doing like ballpark foods. Now we got the jerseys on the mind.
We could do ballparks also, just actual ballparks.
Just ballparks in general.
I think another one would be awesome. Like top 5 like minor league mascots would be an awesome one.
Rocket City Trash Pandas. There's nothing better.
I'll rock my Trash Pandas hat that whole because when I went to the MLB store in New York City, that was the only thing that I bought was a Rocket City Trash Pandas hat.
So we can iron that out throughout the week. If there's anything you guys want to see, let us know in the comments.
We're
more than happy to do it.
Wherever.
Twitter. We have our link tree is up and running by the way now too, and that's on all our socials. It's in the YouTube bio, it's in the Twitter bio, it's in our Twitch bio. So
I think at some point soon, we're probably going to try to do some like some either out of the park baseball or MLB The Show streams on Twitch. That'll be under the Bush League's Twitch, Bush League Boys Twitch. That's in the link tree as well. We're kind of getting the ball rolling here. We got some big plans coming up. Like you said, we got the winter meeting.
A lot of exciting stuff that
we've got the ball rolling. We got all the hard stuff out of the way. So now is when we can really start to dig into the fun stuff and kind of get to experiment a little more with different avenues that we want to take the pod. But and we will be we're going to blog the Red Sox winter weekend also, and that'll just go up on the channel as a video. So just real quick again, we'll touch on this real quick. If you guys haven't already, follow our Twitch because we can go live on Twitch from our phones. So there could be times throughout that winter weekend and obviously times leading up to that where we can go live and just kind of feel everybody going in kind of like in the moment. I think we can go live on Twitter too, right?
I'm not
Twitter
sure.
Spaces, maybe.
Yeah. We got a lot
That's
of
what we can
options. The other thing I want to say, so we've been looking at our analytics for YouTube. I should have said this at the beginning of the video. I'll mention it next one. We only have, I think 20% of our viewers are subscribed. So if you guys don't mind, when you stop in, if you haven't subscribed, drop that for us. It helps us out a lot. It's going to help us keep the podcast alive, keep it running, keep the numbers up. So yeah, if you drop a like, drop a subscription if you haven't already, we really appreciate it. As you guys know, we're nothing without everybody that's been tuning in, and we appreciate you guys big time.
Same thing on Spotify. If you listen on Spotify, please remember to follow us.
Somebody unfollowed us. I'm not too happy about it. We had 8, and then we had 7. Yeah, tracking IP. That's that'll be it. I think for Bush League Boys episode 3. We'll be back same time next week. Mondays 10 a.m. is going to be our new upload schedule for both Spotify and YouTube. We'll be posting out links, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. So be sure to be on the lookout. Click that bell on YouTube if you want to get push notifications. But we ain't going nowhere, baby.
Oh, we're in it for the long haul.
Hell yeah! Man. Catch you guys next week.